everyone. My name is kapibot008, and this will be a speedrun of LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens in the free play category. I have two commentators with me. You can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Seed. I have been commenting for a bit of the runs this marathon. And yeah, that's all I have to say here.
And I'm Riker7. I was one of the developers on LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens a long time ago.
Well, I guess we can start now.
Yeah, I guess what I can add at the beginning here is that this game has an interesting starting frame. It's basically time starts on the first movement, so our host here can start the time once he skips the cutscene into the level pretty
Yeah.
much.
So you guys can do a countdown if you want.
Yep, sure. So I guess in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so, I guess I'm gonna take the lead here real quick, because this is a really big skip here at the very beginning. So what Cappy's gonna do is he's gonna set a respawn point in a really tight corner, and then switch to this big character, and kill the character, and that big character is gonna respawn out of bounds, as he's too big to fit in that small space, and he can infinitely fly with Boba Fett here to the out of bounds door that just skips that entire section. It's about a 3-minute time save just like that. And out of bounds doors are a really interesting concept. I guess, Raika, do you even know did you have a lot of use for them when you were developing this game here?
Yeah, so the out of bounds doors, as we see them, I'm trying to remember the exact setup. They were more used by the construction artists. So they're the guys who put in a lot of the sort of the Lego tech that you interact with and do a little bit of technical scripting. They were put in a lot of the time to allow you to just open the debug menu, and then it shows the door list and you can just skip straight to a door. So if you're testing in a semi non-development environment, you could skip certain bits. But I think some of the out-of-bound ones either were ones that didn't get marked as developer only, so they didn't get removed in the final build, or potentially there were some special other triggers that happened in the game that would just teleport you to them and then go to the next section. I'm not 100% sure of the underlying structure of how they worked, but those were generally the two main things we used them for.
Yeah, and speaking of them, we have one more here to just end this room as well. This one is unfortunately a little bit more difficult to hit. It's over void. There's nothing in there. So fortunate missed first try, and gonna need to make his way over there again. But Boba Fett is insanely broken in this game. Let's just say that much. He's not supposed to, but he can infinitely fly. Because he kind of regains his ability to fly whenever you switch characters back and forth. That's what we'll be seeing here. This the free play speedrun of this game is really cool to watch, as you basically just break the game wide open in this one.
I coded that jetpack as well, so knowing that it's being used to break everything is
interesting. I was not aware of that.
I'm really struggling with this right now.
Probably...
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a really hard trick though, so might take a couple tries. Yeah.
Yeah, the jetpack code. It originally came off of the R2-D2 hover. My lead had sort of written the hover thing, and then he gave me the jetpack task and was just like, you can just start with the R2-D2 one and copy it, and it kind of ballooned out into its own thing as more and more design requests for it came in.
That's interesting. I guess you'd never really thought about what would happen if you just switch characters back and forth, right?
Yeah. From what I've seen from some of the LEGO speedruns, I have watched a few of them, that seems to be a common trend in a lot of the games. Like, character swapping seems to be a fairly popular way of abusing a lot of the game's mechanics.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. And that other bounce door skips that room. Basically just 2 rooms in that whole level, but that is the Resistance. That's the infamous Wookiee Cookie level. And fortunately, we don't see Wookiee Cookies anymore in this level. We can just skip all of it. I guess just to quickly, this is not like a really popular Lego game among the Lego speedrunners or the speedrun followers, for that matter. So I just want to quickly break down that this game consists of a total of 12 levels, prologue, 10 normal levels, and an epilogue, and they all, except for the prologue, they all like follow the storyline of the Force Awakens movie. And this is level 8, Starkiller Sabotage, or I guess chapter 8. And the route that he's following here is completely arbitrary. It's just what kapibot is used to here. But you can once again just see jetpack, kinda just, you can fly around everything. There's no like big invisible walls, and a launch here to be able to land on that collision, and there's another one of those debug out of bounds doors right there, even though it doesn't seem like it's a debug door, but yeah, it is right there. And just to quickly explain this next piece of tech, a V-Sync launch we'll be seeing here. Lego games really do not handle sudden FPS switches very well, so you can just change from V-Sync 30 to V-Sync off while rolling, and because of that, you get insane amount of height, and you can just roll midair and go straight right to the end of this room. Do you, Raika, have any insight on how this works? I mean, I guess I kind of know how it works, but do you know why?
No, honestly, I don't. Like, the number of bugs we would often get through concerning if I turn VSync off, weird stuff happens, and it was kind of just a case of like PC. A little bit of insight here. For a lot of the games I worked on, PC was kind of the last platform. Like we developed on and with it using PCs, but generally console was what we were targeting as our core platform. That's where I think the game sells the best, like Xbox and PlayStation.
Of course,
so we were developed primarily with those, and they're obviously locked frame rates. So most of the game and underlying tech was usually built around a locked frame rate of either 30 or 60. So when you get onto PC and suddenly you've got people running several hundred, I think one of the QA testers, their PC was powerful enough to run the game at like 900 frames a second or something. You would get all kinds of bizarre bugs, and it's just, there are some that you can fix and some you can't. And yeah, if you're swapping VSync, it's even, I guess it's even a bit worse. I think the physics is a fixed update rate, so it's not affected by VSync, so that could potentially be like where the collisions are happening. There's some kind of gameplay logic that's happening, at the non-locked frame rate, and then the physics are still happening at a locked frame rate.
Yeah. It's actually like it's specifically with rolling, or jump rolling, or just like in this game you have the combat dodge that the rolling going up a slope is really what messes up the physics on higher FPS. And yeah, the combat dodging is a really cool mechanic in this game. I love it. I think it's my favorite thing about this game, that you can just roll, especially mid-air, which is not intended, but it does work. And I hate that it wasn't taken into the future LEGO games, personally.
Yeah, there was a bunch of sort of interesting things. This was like one of our, because TT Fusion was the one that developed this, so they spent a lot of time as just the handheld developers, but they did build up a console team over time, and I'd say this was one of their bigger titles, and I think they really wanted to. Did you just skip the entire boss fight?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did skip the entire boss fight. You don't do anything of it.
I spent weeks on that fight. Like, again, this is one of my levels, so
yeah, I knew about that one. I knew about that you worked on that. It's pretty cool.
The gameplay programming team would usually get assigned different levels to provide bespoke code support for. So if there's anything specific for levels, you would have a coder assigned to that level, and this was one of my ones, and that was one of my ones. Didn't get to see much of it, but
yeah, a little bit of an insight if you haven't seen a lot of this speedrun, Raika, is that a lot of most of the out of bounds debug doors are hittable. I guess the big exception is the ship sections here, because there's like no way to get out of bounds in these. That's a little bit more restrictive, but yeah, like that boss fight, the trigger is just below the floor, and it's really easy to access. Unfortunately for you, fortunately for us.
Yeah.
I guess you didn't have a lot of choice in placing that door yourself, but. Yeah.
I imagine the reason that door is just placed randomly there is they'll have just chucked it in wherever, and the scripting team will have gone when boss health equals 0, go. There is just a script command. I think that's something as simple as go to door and you put the door name in.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think for a lot of levels that end on not a trigger but just an event that happens, like something besides walking somewhere, I think the script team will just call go to door.
Do we have time for a quick donation here?
Yeah, we do.
Go
I'm currently doing a ship section, so yeah.
All right, excellent. We got $30 from Jamie Boy 1989 with the message, helped fund these 2 brand new diggers to help dig through Sandy Bay. Now go on, Janik and George, get digging. And with that, we will fulfill the incentive for our next run, the LEGO Racers 2 run. So thank you so much, Jamie Boy.
Yeah, very, very amazing. $30 is a lot of money for a donation, so we appreciate Jamie. Right here, we have another VSync launch to just skip this whole part. This is a very common theme in this game where the end of the room is usually just to the right of the start. So Cappy is not the perfect amount of height here, but he can just basically fly to the right here and then just slightly up. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
sure
was
if
not
that
enough
is making it,
height, yeah.
unfortunately. Unfortunate. But yeah, the end is just right there. Just need to make it there again. And yeah, it's basically exactly to the right, so it's a little bit more up, but yeah, other than that, and this actually, we'll be seeing another debug door here, but it's a little bit less obvious that it's a debug door because it's right where you would expect it to be, really. Just on the top of the... right here. It seems like it's not a debug door, but it actually is because you're not really supposed to go up there.
I can't remember how you finished that level normally. This wasn't one of the ones I was heavily involved in, so I can't actually remember what the end of the level looks like.
That section, you're supposed to just climb a wall, basically, and that it ends it for you once you reach a high point, but yeah. And we followed it up with yet another debug trigger. It's placed right below the floor for just below here. So again, Boba flying to it, it's in a bit of a tricky spot to see. It's right on line with this gold stud here. There we go. Very, very quick.
That is wild. A question I actually have, is there a particular reason for the order of levels here? Is it just where they are on the
No,
galactic
not
map,
really.
or-
I just do them in disorder because when I was doing any percent normal runs, reset runs, it was just easy to reset because these are the hardest levels.
Ah, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, I believe that was also the order that I ran this category in because, yeah, free play, because you can just go to any level at any point, you have complete free will about what level you're doing when. And now we're on to the first level of the game, which is from episode 6, the Battle of Endor. And I'm actually curious if you have any insight of why you decided to make this level in this game, which is not even from the right movie. Was there just filler content, or is there more depth behind it?
I do have a bit of insight. I'm not sure how much I can share. I mean, I think it's fine. So at the time when we started working on this, when we got the contract, we actually didn't have access to any of the Force Awakens material. So we had to start development without having any Force Awakens content to work with. So we didn't actually know what happened in the film. So I think this was like the starting point of, well, we can do a prologue. And I think as well, one of the seniors at TT who was in charge of reviewing a lot of the stuff that we did for the early review of the proof of concept, because you'll see, well, I mean, I don't know how much you'll see because you'll skip probably a lot of it, but the prologue levels has like all the major mechanics split across it that we have in the game. It's like a very good showcase of all of that. He didn't want to be spoiled for the film, so that's another reason why we focused a lot on Endor as the first level we did. And yeah, I think it was literally just the starting point was Lucas were just a bit, I think, were quite secretive, and rightfully so. It was like a revival of Star Wars, a big revival after years and years of not a huge amount comparatively. So yeah, that's like some of the insights I can give.
That makes perfect sense to me, and fortunately for you here, the only real skip in this level is that the first room that he skipped entirely with a single launch, but the rest of this level is actually unskippable. Right here, just because it's really quick to finish it normally, just need to build that. And this next room, the Emperor fight, the debug door is unfortunately placed inside of the depth lane that we can't clip past, so need to play this fight. But this is actually a little bit of an auto-scroller, but it is a cool fight. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, like, because we had so long working on this, because this was like our level to like pitch, yeah, we can do this, because I think originally the other studio were the ones who were going to be working on this, but they had a different project. They weren't able to take it on, so, you know, we were just kind of like, you know, we wanted to prove to the rest of the company that, you know, we could take on the big projects as well at Fusion. I think that was definitely a part of it. That's how it felt anyway when we were talking about it in office. So a lot went into this, and everyone I think was really proud of it because, you know, we were getting to work on a Star Wars game.
Yeah, no, honestly, this is personally probably in my like top 3 favorite LEGO games, casually and as speedrun, because it's both just like really cool game casually and it's really broken in the speedrun, in the good way. So
Yeah.
it's I definitely appreciate the work that was put in here.
Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah, I also really love this game.
Here,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say if there's like speed text to talk about, go for that. I was just sort of reminiscing again.
Not really. So you can go ahead here. There's no speed tag I need to talk about here.
I mean, I was just going to say, as you saw from like bits of the first level, I said this was like one where we were really like trying to show the majority of the big mechanics. So in the first part, you've got the vehicle, we've got like the updated walker vehicles, we've got the blaster battles, we had the multi builds as we called them, the one where you could pick what the outcome of your build pile is, which was a first for, I believe it was the first time that was done in a Lego game. So we wanted to really show off that, and this was like a test of like some of our new boss fight stuff, and that's weird that the Force icon's showing up there in the cutscene. And then we obviously get the next bit with the big vehicle flying sections, which was a huge undertaking by a very we created like a small task force team within the team. So it was like one designer, one programmer, a tech artist, and it was those three would do all the flying sections in the game. That was their sole job for the whole 13 months of development or so.
That is interesting. I didn't know that, but I guess it makes sense because of all of the flying sections, one coming up right here, are all very similar to each other, as they usually have an auto-scroller section, and then they have like a short little section where you can actually just move around freely. Some lag here loading into this room, that happens a bit. Yeah, these are the ship sections. I will say they look stunning. Unfortunately, this is auto-scroller for like, I want to say 1.5 minutes. Not much you can really do. But you mentioned the multi-build, the concept, and I do believe that it was exclusive to this game. And was there some of it used in Ninjago?
It's also in Ninjago.
Yeah, okay. But after that, also the concept wasn't really used up until
I think it
Skywalker
might
Saga.
be in Incredibles too, but I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to remember. It would probably show up. I imagined it would show up in future Fusion projects. I can't remember about Movie 2, but Movie 2 was such a different.
Yeah, I don't think it's in Movie 2.
Definitely not. But
yeah, I remember it being in Ninjago. I can't remember Incredibles. I've kind of, yeah, that one's a bit of a hazy memory for me, even though it's more recent.
Yeah, but yeah, in Skywalker Saga they did bring it back for like a couple of them. Not a very like major mechanic, but yeah, that's I guess something they took probably from this game as inspiration, because this is the closest thing they have.
Yeah, I think there was there was some very lofty goals with the multi-builds. Like, I think the very first pitch we got was you could almost go down 2 completely separate level paths by doing them, but I think that just was a bit too much for the budget we had for levels, so they more just became like a bit of a sort of, you know, a fun way of solving a single puzzle sort of thing. Like at the end of the Endor one, I think you can choose either like to play the cinema screen, or you put something else up. I can't remember specifically what it is, but that's kind of
Yeah.
the route we ended up going down.
Yeah, so it's either you play the movie or you build a helmet dispenser, which gives you a helmet, Imperial helmet, that you can use to use the panel to open the bunker door instead. Which is pretty cool. You just have some choice of. It actually also plays a different cutscene depending on what you do.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
I think that's
the
about as
prologue.
I think that's about as ambitious as it got. There were bigger plans, but we just didn't have, the time and resources to do them.
Yeah, it did seem like a lot of those plans did get then made into reality in Skywalker Saga instead. So I guess that worked out in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was the Knutsford team, the Traveler's Tales team, who did Skywalker Saga in the end. But I think they did take from Force Awakens for inspiration. But I'd kind of left at that point, so I can't really speak too much to its development.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're on to like the first proper Force Awakens level, Assault on Jakku, and immediately here, this is a 30-second level. If done correctly, hopefully we'll see some of that. Yeah, there we go. You can just pause launch immediately, and another out of bounds door really, really quickly, just here in a very arbitrary place. Bit difficult as you don't really have a lot of visual cue, but it does skip this whole section.
Yeah, again, I think the arbitrary one will be, because if I remember correctly, to complete this section, you have to build 3 things to get build 3 weapon caches. So that'll be why it's out of bounds. Because you could build them in any order, so it's the script team again calling go to door, and then calling the end door.
Yeah, and VSync launch from this barrel to this room is kind of like a straight line basically. You just make your way through cover shooters, multiple, to reach the end, and you can launch and just go straight to where the end of the level is, as it is active the whole time right there. Very, very quick level. I think the fastest in the game. Actually, no, second fastest.
Epilogue is the fastest.
Yeah, Epilogue is the fastest by far. What is the next level? Looks like Maz's Castle.
Yeah, Mass Castle.
This level, the first room, it remains unbroken, as the transition to actually end it is inside of the physical door that you can't get really close to because of the alien blocking the door. So we will be seeing some cool 1P2C here. Looks like unfortunately got the weird drop-in glitch with the keybinds.
Yeah, it for some reason puts you on keyboard on second player.
Yeah. Just happens sometimes. And this is 1P2C is not that like common in this speedrun, in the free play speedrun here, just because of how much stuff can be broken. But it is a nice optimization in those sections where you can't skip everything, as you can get a build there during that mini cutscene to get that done as the cutscene ends. And just puts player 2 here closer to the door, so you can roll straight through the door once it's open, right here. It's also a pretty quick level, as even though the first room remains fairly unbroken, the other 2 rooms can't say the same. I am also, oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just say, I noticed that a bunch of the minigame scripts, I take it you run full sort of red bricks on for this as well.
Yeah, I believe he does. Have fast interaction is the big one, as it skips basically every minigame that you like have from the panels.
Yeah, I have all the speedrun kind of red bricks. I don't have like stat multipliers and stuff on.
Once again, breaking my heart. I was the one who did a lot of those mini games.
Interesting.
I was given like when I joined, because it was my first full title and I was just a junior starting out in the industry. They gave me like some sort of fairly small isolated mechanics. So I did like the 4 access panels. I did the goggles mini game and a couple of other small individual interactions that you do.
That's really cool. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, and that's really cool because I think casually they are pretty cool minigames, especially because you know, in the other Lego games you just kind of use a panel and that's all it is, but in this game it's like more of a puzzle. Speaking of puzzles, we will not be seeing a lot of those here, as if you use Boba Fett here to fly over this gate. This gate is actually kind of like the main thing in that whole the scripting of this room, and if you skip that gate, nothing else here loads in, so you can just kind of run through this entire rest of this room, and the final door is just open.
You can also use BB-8 in the camera pan, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but he intentionally waited to enter the level end trigger, otherwise he would have... if you enter the level end trigger during the camera pan, it actually just hard locks your game. So, wanted to make sure not to do that. It's also, I guess it's a side effect of just doing two multiple things not intended in one space.
Yeah, it would depend on how the script's been set up. Like, if the script has triggered a camera pan, it could be waiting for some camera pan, but it's also, like, struggling to process something which is blocking. I don't know the full... I mean, I worked a little bit with the scripts, but generally, yeah, it'll be because two processes are both trying to kind of almost, like, wait for each other is usually how, like, hard locks like that could happen.
Yeah, and right here, we'll be seeing a really unique piece of tech. So BB-8 has a smaller hitbox, and he can just jump into the ceiling and get stuck permanently. But if you then switch to a different character and kill that character, they get clipped slightly upwards, and you can just get over the ceiling and fly back inbounds past this gate. And now, for some reason, this door here opens for like 2 seconds, and the debug door is right there. And that skips everything in that room, and that's a really long room. But it's a really cool skip because it's like 4 different things coming together to create a skip for a room that would normally be unbreakable, because we don't really have a lot of ways to just straight up clip like that in this game. Because it is actually pretty well made, but that is just amazing.
Yeah. BB-8's a very interesting sort of character. A lot of work went in to get him sort of feeling right. Like one of the programmers on the team was like really into his math. Like I think he did a lot of mathematical modeling for like big sort of science coding projects before moving to the games industry. And yeah, they gave him the BB-8 stuff, and there's so much wild stuff that's sort of going on under the hood for how BB-8 works to make him try and feel like the gyro bull that he is, and try and make him match the movie as much as possible. Probably overkill for a game, but
no, definitely adds a charm. Also, BB-8 also happens to be just like I've seen a lot of people online. It's really easy to actually launch with BB-8 in the hub world because of the way he can like boost if you just hold attack with him. So I guess that's definitely something this game is known for because of the cool BB-8 mechanics. This section here, cool 1P2C, cool 1P2C, is not really skippable because the out of bounds door. Or I guess it's just because there's a ceiling, and if there's a ceiling in the room in The Force Awakens, it's really hard to just to clip somewhere. But in contrast to this room, you can do a very simple roll into a corner, into a backflip, which gives you enough height to launch over everything here. Kind of like, yeah, the rolling is just insanely broken, and if you roll into some corners, you don't even need to switch VSync, you just need to be on higher frame rate, and you roll into a corner. In some corners, you just like get insane amount of momentum. And then for some reason, I'm not really sure why it is like that, but if you backflip with a Jedi character, the backflip just like kind of releases all the momentum at once. So if you stack up the momentum and then just backflip, it launches you. Like the backflip basically acts as the launch, which is really cool because it allows for some crazier launches where they would otherwise wouldn't be any. But yeah, on to the finale, which is the name of the level, not the end of the run. We're starting off with this kind of hide and seek section where you just need to hunt down TIE fighters. Just 15 you need to kill. fortunately, because kapibot is playing free play and has the extras, one of the extras is... I forget what it's called, but it basically gives you almost unlimited amount of these like power-up torpedoes that you can shoot in the subsections to just kill everything in an AoE kind of way.
I think it's called
That
like
went
the
down quite-
regenerating combat bar or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Also, that ship
Thank you.
section was like very bad.
Oh, was it? I guess you have some high... I guess you have a bit of a higher standard here, as... Yeah, that section can be RNG. In a bad way. And this is another one of those auto-scrollers. This one is pretty long, but it sure looks good. So you were saying that all of like the one team made all of these, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know if the tech artists who set up like all the artists changed for each one. I imagine that might have, but I know that the designer, a senior designer at TT called Mike, he sort of like designed not only just like how the ship combat felt, but he designed sort of all the how he wanted each of these sections to play. And then we had a programmer called Lewis who did like all the ship code, like completely rewritten. None of like the older games ship code I think was used. He completely sort of rewrote it from scratch. And I think they used one of the Star Fox games as inspiration for the controls. Like I think that's what they tried to match, because there was I think like the designer Mike was just like, it's the best ship fighting game I've ever played. We're gonna do that. It may have varied a little bit in the long run. I sort of, I got bits and bobs from them, but I never worked on any of the ship levels. I just sort of saw the output that Mike and Liz had put together along with the art team.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, honestly. Just nice hearing about these stories you would otherwise not hear about in this oscillator here. I guess, I don't know, if this is a power core or something. You just need to destroy all of the piping there. Not even all of it, you just have a set amount you need to destroy. And now this is where this level gets a little bit interesting, because what Cappy's gonna do is he's gonna launch from this rock, do a VC launch, it's gonna get him really high. And this entire boss fight is on a singular map file. And what that means is everything is just on this, everything is one place just far away from each other. And so is the debug door. It's just at the very end of the level, and Cappy, because he can infinitely fly with Boba Fett, he can just completely ignore Kylo Ren and, yeah, fly to the end trigger, which is actually pretty easy to reach if you just have Boba Fett. And is this a level you worked on?
I didn't work on this technically, but I believe that the actual Kylo Ren boss fight, a lot of his mechanics were actually taken from the Takodana, stormtrooper with the club, with the baton boss fight. Like I wrote a lot of the script and code for that particular fight, and then I think basically we hit this level and we were completely out of time. Like we just run out of time for it, so I think we had to reuse a lot more than we would have liked, which is a real shame because it's the finale of the game, and I think everyone was a bit upset about that. But sometimes that's just how game dev goes, So the Kylo Ren boss fight probably isn't as unique as everyone had hoped, because it reuses a lot of the behavior from the stormtrooper fight. The FN 2199, is it?
2199, exactly. Speaking of FN 2199, we won't see him, but we will be in the level that he's in as the next level of the speedrun. Oh, got the annoying glitch where you can't skip the things in the status screen. Also, no idea why it happens, it just does.
There might be some UI flow. The UI in the Fusion Lego games for a long time was very different from the Traveler's Tales UI. You can almost like one of the things that we found as development team is you can almost tell straight away for a period of time you could tell straight away which of the two studios worked on it just by how the UI looked and behaved. We'd tried like some quite experimental, complex thing that had actually originally come from the handheld tech, and they kind of brought it to the console tech, and it allowed us to get a lot of really nice sort of fancy animated stuff, which we kind of went all out with on the Force Awakens UI. I think we toned it back a little bit in future games. But yeah, it just had a completely different flow from how the Traveler's Tales UI tech worked.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You can definitely tell which games were worked on by Fusion. not only from like the UI, but just like from the general like feel of the game for sure, because the Fusion tends to be just like have a little bit like smaller, like less ambitious maybe, because yeah, TT Games, the normal studio or the original studio, they just like they tried to basically one up themselves every time, right?
Yeah, they went very big and bombastic a lot of the time. I think like
Modern out
Fusion
of bounds
lost.
door here. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think Fusion did try to be a bit creative in some places, but sometimes we had to rein that in a little bit. Ninjago was a great example of that, actually, as well, of us having to rein in our weird ideas.
Yeah, definitely. This ship section here on at the end of Tackledon is actually really, really cool, as RNG is a little bit less of a factor here for once, and
Yeah,
the
this is
ships
my
tend to
favorite
spawn
ship
in.
section in the entire game.
Yeah, for sure, mine as well. The ships tend to spawn in consistent places, and these transports here are always the same. And this is also where the regenerating combat thing is really, really useful, as you can just yeah, shoot a missile like that, and you just destroy 2 transport at once. Well, barely any effort really, and then again here. And yeah, you need to do that twice, and then after that there is a section where you need to protect the general's ship from some TIE fighters. And I guess a lot of these ship sections, they do focus on like getting torpedoes from TIE fighters, but this one actually doesn't, because you can get torpedoes and they are useful for a minikit, but this one it's just basically basic combat with the ships. A little bit of a different tone here. I guess I can quickly, while kapibot is taking care of this, very swiftly taking care of these TIE fighters, as he knows exactly where they will spawn in and at what time. Can quickly check. It looks like we only have 3 levels to go in this speedrun.
Yeah, only 3 levels. Also, the last part
yeah.
with the TIE fighters is the best part of this ship section. I really like that. There's almost no RNG.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree. A little
Can
bit
I
of
jump in with a quick donation here?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We got $50 from Senor with the message toward some TCS red bricks during the free play run. So thank you, Senor. That will unlock 2 red brick, I believe, 2 red bricks in the free play run later from T-Saber.
Amazing. Thank you, Senor. Yeah. I just wanted to quickly say that there's I'm not sure if you actually know about this, Raika, but we recently found that we just basically recently broke the any percent speedrun of this game in half, as we found out that if you use one of the DLCs on the oldest version of the game, it actually just lets you skip half the game, as it's not programmed to handle the DLC correctly. And
I think kapibot might have mentioned that to me at one point.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. That is wild. I'm trying to think of why that might have been. It probably was just because the DLC wasn't completely ready and there was some config stuff that was just not set up properly.
I believe so. It's from the Escape from Starkiller base level and the DLC, and the DLC happens on the Starkiller base planet, right? And the DLC, because Alex says the game wasn't coded for that DLC yet when it came out, is because so it basically just unlocks the Starkiller planet early from the DLC, but it doesn't have the DLC, so it just lets you play the next level on Starkiller base, which is in that case Starkiller Sabotage, which is amazing that we have that right now, because any percent is actually shorter than free play now, which is something not seen in a lot of the games.
Yeah, that's wild. So I have a couple bits of insight. So that previous section we did, I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe that was one of the first levels from Force Awakens that we did outside the prologue. I can't remember why. I think it was one of the first. And then this level here, which is probably about to be completely blown open, was quite infamous in the development portion, because for anyone who's played it casually, you'll know you do the blaster battle, and then you get into a big turret as BB-8, and then after that you build another turret and shoot stuff down. Neither of those turret sections were originally planned in the game, but when we were doing the demo, which was this level, they wanted the cool game to make it more bombastic, so we just kept adding more turret sections and more content, and I was on the demo level, and it was a very rough 2 weeks. I'll say that, because it's something like, oh yeah, we just want to like double the amount of content in one of the levels, and try and make it all fit. It was a bit chaotic, but it's why there's like so much going on in that, because we wanted a really cool level for the demo.
Yeah, apparently that last turret is like really bad.
Yeah, as someone, I coded a lot of the turrets in the game, and I wasn't very happy with that one, because I think I had like a day, if that, to do it.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense why that section is packed with so many things. It's just, I guess in hindsight from me, I didn't really like playing that casually. Definitely cool that you can just go around everything and with launches, because you can just enter the Falcon early. But I guess it does make sense now.
Because we did the blaster battle, and we were like, okay, cool, that's the nice set piece of this section. We had some puzzles before, we had a blaster battle, we'll have a couple of puzzles after. And then it was like, okay, put the BB-8 turret battle in. And I was like, it's a bit weird, it's a very odd turret. Like, it had to do some really wild stuff, because you had to go from the astromech minigame straight into the turret, and there's nothing for that in the game to support that. So I had to write this really awkward bit of converter code that attached to that astromech to go, when you finish this interactable, or this, I can't remember what it's called. It was like a multi-state. I think it was called a multi-state, which was the generic name we had for a lot of these. Start, immediately mount up or remote control this turret. It was really janky at the time, because nothing had ever done it, and nothing would ever do it again. It was just for that one thing. And then I was like, okay, the turret's all right. And then they're like, oh yeah, we want another turret section at the end of the level. And it's just like, less is more, guys. But yeah, it was a stressful 2 weeks. That demo was pretty rough for deadlines.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like it's just like a thing with the demo levels of most of the games, where they just kind of give you one of the longest levels as a demo. I guess to just get you excited for the game. Makes sense, but I guess it wasn't really fun for you.
Yeah, I mean, there were bits of it that were okay. Like the team, it wasn't like the whole company, because obviously everyone was still making everything. It was like, I would say the equivalent of a usual level team. Like there was a coder or a couple of coders, because we had a dedicated blaster battle coder as well. So he did all the blaster battle stuff, and then we had myself as like the level assistance coder. I think I worked on this bit as well, actually. One of the earliest things I worked on. It was quite difficult to make it move nicely.
Funny thing about this section, just the section before this TIE fighter here, is kapibot just saved about 6 minutes of an intended gameplay by flying with Boba Fett from one collision to another, because the one place that really needed an invisible wall in this level just doesn't have it, so you can just get to the TIE fighter immediately and go into it, and you end up in this section, and really quick shooting of the TIE fighters, and then you're outside.
Yeah, because you have to like do an awkward protocol droid escort, don't you? You have to have like a protocol droid to use.
Yeah, you have a cover shooter as well. There's a lot of things in that room, and actually,
there's a turret boss fight as well.
Yeah, I haven't played that in a while.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, but I believe that once you go a little bit to the right in the start of that room, actually, the TIE fighter that you go into gets taken away, and that gets put back into place, but because kapibot just immediately flew to that TIE fighter, it doesn't even get taken away, so you can just immediately end that section.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's like an optimization technique, just like so there's not a vehicle just sat there, because vehicles in LEGO games can get quite expensive in memory.
Oh, for
Probably
sure,
like a combination of just a lot of the base vehicle code is very old and had been built on continuously for like 10 to 15 years at that point. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they just were like, we'll have it there to show off, and then we'll just despawn it out. We'll just despawn it when we actually need it.
And the funny thing is, when the TIE fighter is not there, when it gets taken away, you can still like press Y to go into it, but it actually just like soft locks the entire level if you do that, which is really really weird that they even let you do that. I guess it obviously was never intended to be the case, but here we have some interesting perspective with a TIE fighter with torpedoes, but the torpedoes are perfectly. I guess Cappy just fixed it now.
Not anymore.
Torpedoes are perfectly covering our screen. Yeah. And on to the last bit of this level.
Oh god.
The slide section, yeah.
This slide section took me 6 weeks, I think.
Oh,
On and off, not like continuously, but on and off. It took about 6 weeks to get right. And
really?
it lasted,
Wow.
what, 6 seconds? And it's the only one in the game.
Interesting.
Part of it is because I was completely new to development. Like, again, this was a very early thing I worked on. But we originally were going to take it from Lego Movie because it's a big slide section in that. But the problem is
Yeah.
Lego Movie slide section is just a single flat plane. I think it's honestly only like a single quad that you can slide down. This was fully detailed terrain, and all the slide code for Lego Movie was surprisingly complex and crazy, but also worked largely because you were on a flat surface, whilst we had to adjust constantly for the changes in surface and terrain type. And it took several weeks of just tinkering with it, and then I think eventually I got fed up and I ripped half of it out, and it actually ended up working better. But yeah, it was yeah, it was like 6 weeks of, okay, I spend like a couple of days on it, send it off to review, and then by the next week is back going, no, we still don't like it. Can you do this? Can you try and do this as well? And yeah, it's for final result versus time spent, it is one of the longest sort of things I ever worked on at TT. But
Oh, that's not one I expected for sure. Yeah, we did skip a lot of that things after the slide, but yeah, I mean that slide was just always just like, oh, it's a cool little start to that section. You can get a couple of studs, but now that I hear how much work was put into it, I'm really amazed. And this is the last level, and this is the shortest level of the game. We're ending on a high note here.
Yeah, time
as
will
all
be coming
Cappy
up
will have
soon.
to do here. Yeah, time will come up as soon as this next cutscene with Ray plays in about, I want to say about 20 seconds from now. So what Cappy will do is immediately switch to Ray, backflip into this corner, or sorry, not backflip, roll, and then backflip. Unfortunately, not enough height there, but if you just get a high enough launch here, you go straight up the mountain, don't need to do anything else, and you can just go visit our old pal Luke here. And time is coming up now. So GG's.
Yeah,
GG.
that was pretty decent. The start wasn't great, but towards the end it was a lot better.
Yeah, no, really amazing showcase. This is a really cool category, really cool game. Would definitely recommend checking out more of the speedruns of this game specifically. And thank you for the amazing run, Cappy. Thank you for the amazing developer insight, Raika. I am really happy that I also got to commentate this run along you, as it was just really cool to learn about these things.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting. I love, like, I mean, I've been sort of lurking in the Lego Speedrun Discord for ages, and I love seeing all the stuff that you guys come up with, even if I don't actively talk a lot. But yeah, no, it was really cool to get to be part of this.
Yeah, no, amazing. Happy. Do you want to give any last words here?
Well, I want to thank the people who found all the strats for this, because without them, we wouldn't be here, obviously. And the entire LEGO speedrunning community, they're great. And yeah, that'll be about it.
I just want to chime in. The person who found a lot of these strats, his name is Bricko, and yeah, really amazing glitch hunter for this game. He kind of pioneered everything in most of the categories nowadays, and yeah, his input is seen to this day in this very speedrun. So it's really cool that this stuff just carries on. Anyway, I think that will be it from us, unless, yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
you can take it away, Chimkin.
All right. Thank you so much for that run and all that insight into the game. That was a very fun watch. We'll be back here after a short break for the Lego Racers 2 any% race between Janik and George M. Hull. So don't go anywhere.